very close to contact. That had to be so close. Smoking in to the mark. It's game on. Here's an awesome race in towards the bottom gate. Have a go at the speed, 43 knots. This team is absolutely on fire.
And 2. Hello and welcome to all of you e-sailing fans around the world. Welcome to the eSailGP 2020 Championship San Francisco Qualifier. Unlucky because of coronavirus, they're not sailing in San Francisco this weekend, but that doesn't infect the virtual waters, and we are here to do a fantastic racing today. We are here to do some random races. We are here to follow all of you trying to qualify to the qualifier final that will be played this Wednesday, 9 in the evening, Paris time. So this is a show for all of you, and I have to say, I'm not the only one that is ready for the show today. Today I have a very special guest with me in the studio, and before we introduce him, let's introduce him with this video, and that might also be a video we are playing this time for the qualification final.
Hello, HAVUC from Turkey, Kaan Mahmutca, ready to be the next champion.
And welcome to my dear friend HAVUC, the carrot from Turkey. Welcome in studio, HAVUC.
Hi Thomas, thank you for the fancy video again.
I'm always amazed, HAVUC. You are one of the few players that I know in the world qualified as in first place to the World Championship, qualifying to first place in all the eSailGP qualifiers, and it looks like you're going to do it again when we're going into the scoreboard. You know so much of the game. You are, in my eyes, one of the best players in the world. We are just missing that one last step where you're also winning it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm doing a good series in general in qualification steps, but you know, in the finals, it's everything can happen. You know, because everybody knows what they're doing, and you don't have to make any mistakes. So sometimes you have to have some luck, but actually until now I didn't have much luck, I believe. But hopefully I will win this regatta.
But yeah, well, hopefully you will. But it must be a great pleasure to you to see a player like togther, you protege, you apprentice, qualifying last time, qualifying to the qualifier final, and then winning it and going straight into the grand final. That must have been a great pleasure for you.
Yeah, I mean, Doğa is a great player. He's actually a great sailor too, a European champion, and he's a tactical genius. And I'm very happy when he succeeds such accomplishments. So we are also practicing and talking and sharing our tips. For example, before this series in San Francisco series, I asked him how to have a good start. So he gave me a few tips, and I think it's working because I'm like right now I'm in the first position. Yeah. So I appreciate his tactics. So I think we can together share our tips and move on to a better step.
Yeah, and I have to say, what a great pleasure to have you in here, because I know you will give all the viewers some really good tips and tricks while we are going into random races today. But before starting to watch some races today, let's go in and see the scoreboard. And that's a huge surprise, this scoreboard again. And when we are watching it, I have to say, HAVUC, you're in the lead again. This is the 4th time you are #1 in the world in the eSailGP. But this time it has been a little bit harder to play the EF50 because Virtual Regatta put it to 16 boats and not 10 boats as normal, this regatta. Yeah. So how the hell did you qualify for this? Because the starts, aren't they very hard to do?
Yeah, exactly. Right now, before the start in the box, there are like 16 boats, and it is really hard to just not to get a penalty before the start. So you have to be very careful not to touch anybody. You have to stay clean, and also you have to have a perfect timing at the start line. So you really have to concentrate and just be aware of what's going on around you at the same time. So luckily I managed to do that, and right now I seem to be in the first position.
Yeah. Do you think in this challenges with 16 players from the start, we will see a best year score of 100?
It's unlikely, but it can happen.
Yeah.
Well, it can happen if somebody really concentrate and like play from the morning till night, maybe.
Playing in day and night. And when we are watching in here, we can see you did your best year score after 28 races. And in 2nd place, what a good surprise, a SailGP sailor, another one from Spain, Joel Rodriguez, he's there. And after 18 races, then Cruiselator, he already qualified to the grand final, so he's just showing off. He will not qualify if this be in the final. Barton Briggs, again also, one of you furious competition at the World Championship. Johan Cardona already in the grand final, also just showing off. Then we have Yasim, one of the race officers, one of the really hardcore organizers of the Spanish e-sailing community. First loser, coach. Dean from Australia. He's back in the top. We haven't seen a lot to him this year, but he's back on it. The pilot from Australia, Pepe D'Amato, he won gamers versus athletes, or athletes versus gamers. He won that battle, so I think he dreams of going into the grand final. And then we have 2 players that right now is qualified. That's Pablo Gutian and Tommy Tamble from Italy, because Johan Cardona and Cruiselator already is qualified.
Yeah, we see that a lot of Spanish in top 10. I think the lockdown period really encouraged them to play the game. Yeah. So, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's good to have it.
And Thomas, 2 SailGP guys are in top 10s. Amazing too.
Yeah, it's really amazing. But Johan Cardona, he has been cheating a little bit in my world. He was playing the game before he went into SailGP. He was known under the name Condurian, and he was part of our international e-sailing community for a long time and has been top performing there. So he knows a lot about the game. What we can see, he is giving tips and tricks to his teammate. Joel there is in 2nd place at the moment. That is fine. And let's just scroll a little bit down just to watch here. Agent Gordon, he is in the chat right now in 12. Luca Koslovic, 13. Martin Fernandez, the young Portuguese sailor living in the countryside, in 14. The world champion, 15. Jack Ferguson is coming back in 16. Gin Tonic, that's Pepe D'Amato's brother, in 18. Clark from Denmark, one of the best Danish players in the EF50 in 19. And then when we're going down there, we can see, okay, Wins is the best. He's also a good player. He's the best French player at the moment. But Tim Carpentier, young sailor, also coming up. Germans represented. Stieber coach, yeah, we know him quite well. Sinjit, there's in the chat, 39 position at the moment. And then we have the British coming in. So right now it looks like Italians, Spaniards, Turks are dominating this list. Great job by all of you out there. We're going to have some random races, and to all of you watching out there, following in this broadcast here, the way it works is the first server, one out of 16 we're seeing, is the server we're going to watch. So this 1 out of 16 we have here is the one we are going to watch, because that was the first one created when we are in the random races. And while we're waiting for that, if you should have any questions or comments or anything to HAVUC or I, please write in the chat. Please ask the questions, because today we are going to be a little bit geeky about the game. We have one of the best players with us in studio, and I know he will tell us some tips and tricks what's going on. And the server is filling up quite fast. Did you see that, HAVUC? Suddenly it was 16-16 because we are doing this fantastic stream. So I'm really glad that you guys out there are watching this. So let's see who is with us. And I'm pretty sure we'll get some known names with us in this game, because some of the top players out there are watching it, and they really love when you're commentating on it and telling them what to do, and when we are commentating it here in studio. But HAVUC, playing the EF50, what is the best tip you can give to a player that hasn't been performing at a top level to get a good result?
The best tip is to have a good start. Because in the start, everything is like in a shape after you turn the first mark. And if you have a good position after the first mark, then you can easily win the race with some small tactics. But if you are quite behind and you didn't do well in the start, then you'll have some hard time trying to improve your score.
Yeah. So focus on the start. And see, there we have HAVUC. We actually don't want to have HAVUC in the studio. So, oh, that was the scoreboard. So let's just take HAVUC. We have you, HAVUC, in the picture, and we will just take that out in a few sec. But let's have you down there as a co-commentator. Just to say, we have Linux from France, Tim Dipari from France, Joni from Germany. We have Tilly Deep from France. And F483 Italy. Let's just follow the start. Known player we have is Steel Racing and Rune from Denmark. That is players we know quite well here. See that start.
Yeah. So Johnny is going well. I think he did a good start. And
Tim.
Let's see how they're going to mark.
And it's quite interesting, rounding that mark. Only one penalty, that was for Joni. He had a good start. Then we see Rune from Denmark, not the best start, but it's a French guy in the lead at the moment.
So when you're going downwind, you have to just think about the upwind and choose the downwind mark wisely, because that is something crucial, since you cannot do a lot of maneuvers during the race. If you do a lot of maneuvers, then you're gonna lose some points, some score, and you're gonna slow down eventually.
Yeah. And we can see when they're going upwind, HAVUC, what is the trick here to go upwind? Is it just to go to one of the side, or is there a trick that we can use?
Well, first of all, you need to do the minimum number of penalties. And you have to decide where you're going to go while you're going downwind, actually, because you have to take the downwind mark. That has the advantage for you to have a least amount of tax during the upwind. So that's something crucial. Plus, another tip is that you have to check out the upwind mark too at the same time, because sometimes one of the mark has a lot more advantage than the other one. Yeah. So you have to have your strategy from the beginning of the upwind course, I can say.
Yeah. And right now we are seeing this mark rounding. And which side to choose, that's always a question we are getting in the studio. Right now I can say almost both sides is in a good side to round. But it's all about that V. We see in the radar up there, we see a V with the ley lines. And those ley lines are telling us which mark is the best to round when we're coming downwind. Or we're coming to a gate mark like this. We will not tell anymore, but if you guys are watching that V, that's actually how you can do it. So let's see here right now. It's Tim in the lead. It's Italy 18 in second, Kant Lanza in third, Dominic in fourth, Joni, and I think that's a player we know, in fifth, Rune from Denmark in sixth, Tupu Tar, we can't say his name, and Steel Racer coming in here. Rounding the mark, they're splitting up again, and HAVUC going to this side like Rune from Denmark is doing. How many tacks will he do as minimum upwind when he's going to the right hand side?
1, 2, 3. I think 3. 1, yeah, 1, 2, and 3. 3 is the minimum number of tacks he's gonna do, as far as I can sum up. And I think he did pretty good job because right now it looks like the starboard tack has a better wind angle, but at the same time the boats at the right hand side of the course has a better angle because of the wind shift. So it looks like Tim has a very good position, although he doesn't have a lot of wind as far as I can observe. He has a very good angle, and he can even bear away a little bit and make the boat faster and foil, and it will be a comfortable win for Tim.
Yeah, and we just saw him going to the mark away from us, the far side mark, and that was actually the best mark to race around, because you can see the ley lines here in front of us. We can see how they're drawn, and those ley lines are indicating which mark is best to round, and that is one of them there. Rune from Denmark in sixth tried to come back with that upwind race, and now they're going downwind to the gate mark here. Coming in, it's Tim from France winning it. It's a Spanish Dominic Hector, registered sailor, in second. Italy 18 drops to third. Joni in fourth. Kat Lanza in fifth. And Rune from Denmark coming in sixth. And this was just the first race we are going to see today, HAVUC. And what a start we had. And you talked about these hard starts to have because there's 16 players. So when we're coming into the next race, will you please tell us what is best to do with the wind intelligence up there in the start?
Sure.
Yeah. And we are coming into the stats. We saw Tim was winning Dominate in second, but what can we say about these stats, HAVUC? What can it help us with?
Well, as we can see, Tim did a great job at the starting line. Also, we saw that he has a good speed during the start. And that really helped him to win the race. I couldn't follow the Italian boat, but he did the shortest distance, which means that he did choose the best sides of the course, and he managed to use the best wind shifts. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
But interesting to see that Italy 18 was sailing the shortest distance, but he lost at the top mark. And he lost that battle because Italy 18 went to the mark closest to us, where Dominic Hector went to the mark far away from us. And Dominic Hector won that meters on Italy 18 and won that race. And then we can see Joni with an okay start, then got a penalty, drops down and comes back in fourth. Good races by him.
Yeah, and he has 50. The short distance, not everything, because this boat is all about speed and foiling. So if even though if you do the shortest distance, you have to have some speed, and if you lack the speed but you do the shortest distance, then it's not enough for you to win the race.
Yeah. And to all of you watching right now, if you want to see yourself and be analyzed by HAVUC and I, then it's joining that server 5 out of 16. That was the first one out of 16 server we had. And see HAVUC, now it's filling up and it's going quite fast. I know there's around 8 seconds delays on some of the channels watching us, but those on you on Twitch and YouTube, and also Facebook has started upgrading our algorithm, so there's almost no delay there. It's full up, so let's see who we're getting in with it. But HAVUC, it's not about sailing the shortest distance. Most of the boats is all about sailing the shortest distance, but here it's all about speed. So this means that I can actually make some mistakes in my strategy tactics in the distance I'm sailing. It's just about finding that wind. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's something in between, because that's all about your strategy. But in EF50, it's a unique boat, and you know, when you make a maneuver, the boat automatically slows down a lot. So we are trying to avoid the maneuvers like tacks or jibes, both of them, because it is taking some time for the boat to have its own momentum again. So that's the main issue here. So when you're making a strategy, you have to consider both of your speed and the shortest distance. And if you manage to do them both, then and also have a good start, then there's nothing that will stop you.
And HAVUC, we got one question from Roxy Joni in the chat. That's one of your competitors. Do you always start in the same side? Now we'll have to start. Let's talk about the start, and then you can answer the question afterwards.
Sure.
So what to do here?
So just, I mean, you have to stay clean of the other boats, avoid collusion, and be at the starting line at the right moment. I think this is a not bad start for most of the boats. And to be in the inner side of the mark, it has a lot of advantage, like Maxi right now. And Aiden Gordon, he's also a good sailor. We know him from SailGP2. Also a Wasp. He has a Wasp, I think, foiling boat.
He was also part of a SailGP Inspire program in Sydney, and there he met the Danish team and was part of them. And he also had been in a qualifier final. Now he's in the lead. So so back to the question, HAVUC. Do you always start in the same side?
Well, no. I just seek where less boats are and try to do my strategy accordingly. Because, for example, I can start from the left side corner, but sometimes there are a lot of boats covering me all over. So it is impossible for you to just have a good start when there are a lot of boats near you. So what I do is I'm trying to pick a place where that I think that I won't have a collision with any other boats, and try to have a good start. I mean, I don't have to have the best start, but at least I can have a good start, so that I'll have a chance to win at the end. Because if you just try your luck hard and you fail at the end, then it's quite impossible for you to cover up your losses during the race.
And while saying that words, Aiden Gordon, he is in the lead at the moment, coming there from New Zealand. The youngster is going in. Julie France is coming in. Australian boat. Silman coming in. Then we have Imol. We have seen him before. What a slow turn he had there. And opposite side, see there, he comes in with a penalty, also hitting the mark. Penalty to Benfair. And Angie Angry going upwind, losing that momentum. Downwind action. We can just do a fast calculation. There will always be one jibe downwind towards the mark, and sometimes two, but it's all about speed. And where can I find that speed in a radar, HAVUC here?
Well, it looks like this wind is at the right side, like when we are looking right now. So I would prefer to stay at the right, and I would probably turn the mark far from us right now and do a jibe set, a tech set. I mean, exactly when I
So as
turn the
soon
mark.
as you round it, then tack to the opposite side. So do a
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
Depending on the wind angle, I cannot observe it here right now, but I prefer to have the better angle
Yeah.
at when I just turn the mark.
Yeah. It's
Because
Aiden.
when you
Yeah.
because when you're going downwind and just turning the mark, you have plenty of speed, and it is quite fast when you do an instant tech when you turn the mark. So you don't lose a lot of momentum like you used to, like in a regular tech. So that would be an advantage for me if I prefer to go to the left side, for example.
And before commentating on the finish here, let's I just had from the world champ Filippo Lanfranci in the chat, Khan, please stop telling these tips. I can't qualify anymore. So, so it's Aiden Gordon. He is in the lead, rounding that top gate mark for the second time, racing for the reach. Julie from France in second. That will also be a secured second place. And third place will be Australia 12th. But see a battle coming up. TP Glad and Selman both 1, 2, 3. And Fogg coming in. But boat 1, 2, 3. Oh, penalize! How did he penalize that boat?
Oh,
Yeah.
Sometimes these things happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. That was normally not a penalty we were seeing there. That was one of the glitches in the game. But see that battle up here, Australia 12. It's TP5, then Silman coming in, and here we have a battle. The white boat 1, 2, 3 battling against Seguin, and he made a mistake there. He actually came to the outside. Luckily for him, this Japanese boat or American boat didn't knew the rule of the inside turn, then he could actually penalize him.
But because of sometimes because of the glitches, people prefer to not to take any risks and get penalized instead of penalizing. So I can understand trying to avoid collision in any ways, because even though he thinks that he will penalize him, sometimes you get the penalty, and there won't be any room to just cover up for the mistake because you're in the last reaching course.
Yeah. And here we have to start Aiden Gordon with a victory, Julian from France second, and Australia 12th in third. Watching the start, it was not Aiden having the best start. He actually started third, as I remember. Then Christian Fogg, he had the best start, but he got a penalty in the start. Maximum speed, almost hitting 50 knots, Juliet from France. And then still the shortest was Andy Angry. And when we are watching here, see, he started fourth, actually, Aiden Gordon. But then he battling his way up to the top mark, where he, to the gate mark, where he rounded that gate mark very, very well. And we can see a penalty to, no, he lost connection, Maxi 88 up there. So that's why Aiden took over the lead.
So we saw that Aiden did a fair start, and he avoided collisions, and at the end of the day, he had a fair average speed, and he managed to finish in the first position.
Yeah. And let's see how it is. I can say to you, HAVUC, a lot of the top players are watching right now. They are very interesting in what you're telling of tips and tricks. And so don't tell all your tricks to them, because then they will use it against you. Because we have to say, when we are seeing, there's no 1 out of 16 server there. When we're seeing the scoreboard, I don't see any of the top players in that scoreboard in the top. You are there again, so you know something about the game. And that's just to tell to the world champ, Jonathan Koch, Aiden Gordon, Sinjet, Enzo, all of them. Hey guys, this guy above me, he knows something about racing it. I know you also do, but he qualifies as #1 every time almost. But another knock that. Here's a new server. That's link left or middle, HAVUC. They started at the same time.
I'm sorry?
Are we going to pick the left or the middle? They started at the same time.
Middle is fine.
Then we take the middle. Let's see which one going with numbers first, and that's the servers we're going to take. We're going to watch when it's coming up. While we are waiting for that server to build up, please see one of the qualified. They have been able to qualify to this grand final. That's Jon Cardona.
Hi, my name is Joan Cardona. I'm grinder for Team Spain. And you can find me in Virtual Regatta with the username of Joan Cardona, Spain, eSailGP.
No, that's okay.
I invite you all
to
play in the next pop-up qualifier from the 10th to 12th of April.
Yes, that's a Team Spain move.
This is okay.
See you in Virtual Regatta.
And welcome back in studio for new viewers. Today we are doing some random races in this fantastic eSailGP qualification. And together with me in studio I have HAVUC from Turkey, also called named Kaan Mansuka, but we know him as HAVUC the Carrot from Turkey. And we're going into the next race. You said the middle race, HAVUC, didn't you? So we're going to take the middle server, not the first server here, but let's just see who is in both of them, because this is going to be quite interesting who's in there, because all the top players are there. And you're handing out of tips and tricks. We can see in this one we have Rune from Denmark, and we have Hidden there, but we are taking the middle as you said. So let's join the middle and see who's in there. And we have been talking about the starts, HAVUC. So I will not speak much about this race, next race we're coming into, but please guide us to this start.
Sure. So, yeah. I mean, right now, the middle side is quite crowded. So, I mean, to avoid collision, I would probably prefer to stay at the left-hand side. But I think everything can change in the last 25 seconds. So it is really crucial to when to start to run your boat. So let's see. The timing is everything in this.
The timing is everything, and there's nothing with the win in these starts here. You need to come with speed and you need to time it, and don't get a penalty. That's it when there's 16 boats. But there we go, Yellow Dream. Oh, false start. Katsalanza, Blackbird, Alexander coming in. That means Laser Mitch is coming in first. P is coming in. Solar Henry and Fiderix. And then we have DSST.
Yeah, the worst thing is the false start, because you really have to go back and restart again. Unlike the real SailGP, you're losing a lot of distance when you're doing that. So even also sometimes you have a false start and you have a penalty, then it's the worst case.
And how can you get a false start and a penalty? That's a penalty from the other boats, or it's a penalty for crossing the starting line before time?
Yeah, for example, when you cannot time the starts, when you cannot do the timing well, and you're early to the starting line, and you sometimes bear away, but you just crash into another boat, then you get both a penalty and a false start, which is a nightmare.
Yeah. And this is interesting what we're seeing here. DSST going to battling Solan Henry there, and they're splitting up, going to opposite side. Who is doing the best job here?
Right now, I think DSST is in a good position because he has a better wind angle, and he's over the ley line. He can turn the mark without any more maneuvers. Solal Henry is not in a very good position because he is not using the best wind angle. So yeah, as you can see, he is in the second position right now. So he will take behind him, as you can see.
And interesting here, he's going to the far mark, and that's also the good choice when I'm reading the radar and everything, because that is the closest distance you're sailing there. Solar Henry also coming in, P, Taz coming in, and see Laser Mitch going here to the left-hand side and losing momentum, but he's all by himself, and maybe he can catch some wind, and now he's going to the others. Is that a good choice to go in to attack the others this way?
Well, Thomas, sometimes sometimes you see it's coming, that there's a carnage at the upwind mark. So that player may have chosen to go to the other mark instead of taking a penalty in this carnage. So I understand his idea here, but it's not the best mark to turn, unfortunately. But yeah, sometimes I'm doing that too, because I see it coming, and I prefer to just avoid any collision with somebody else.
Yeah, I have a question from you, from Enzo Balanga. He said, "Here, HAVUC, congrats. What time did you play eSailGP today?" Because they also want to know which time of the day is best to play to qualify.
Well, I played last night, and I was like in 8th position, I think. And this morning I also started playing, and I had finished my series, because last night I was quite tired and wasn't concentrating enough. So in the morning I can focus a little bit more.
Yeah, so in the morning there's more.
Yeah, because also, at the afternoon there are a lot of people are playing, and sometimes we observe some glitches in the game. So I prefer to not to have some glitches. So I don't play like 7 p.m., 8 p.m.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Here we're seeing DSST in the lead, Solar and Henry in second, Hope in third, Fredericks coming in, penalizing Taz there. Great penalty handling out. Alessandro coming in, and Blackbird. And now it's race for that reach. There's nothing to change in top three, but a battle for fourth coming up here. Oh, that's a stupid penalty from Fredericks. He sailed into Alexandro all by himself. So that's how he lost that fourth position. And he actually lost it all the way to 8 because of that. And see, now he's on the inside turn, can pressure the other one out. Laser Mitch, who had the best start, is in 9th, coming in the last positions.
You really have to avoid making any mistakes in the last downwind and the reaching, because there's no covering up for this. The race is ending, and it's ending fast.
So that's how it is, and let's see the stats here. This is a DSST winning, Solar and Henry in second, Hope in third, Alessandro in fourth. And what can we use these stats for? That's always what stats coming in there?
So we see DSST finishing in the first position. He had the best average speed. So what this means is that he did the minimum amount of maneuvers, in other words. So this helped him to gain the first position. Also, we saw him making a good choice in the first upwind, and this provided him to win the race.
And that is the upwind races where you're winning the race, and we can see it here. Actually, he came DSST, when we're reading this map here, we can see at number 1, that's the reach mark. Number 2, that's the bottom gate mark. Number 3, top gate mark. Number 4, bottom gate mark. 5th, top gate mark. 6, reach mark, and F for finish. And we can see he won it in the downwind race because of those penalties. We saw penalty to El Piote, and then he was on the inside, good turning, but he only came into second and upwind. That where we saw the split in between Solar Henry and himself. where he actually won that upwind and then he kept his position there. That is great stuff.
Yeah, that was a good upwind in the first upwind.
Yeah, HAVUC, we are going to have some fun now. I just gave you access to the eSailing TV account, the big account with all the green coins, all the helps you can get in the world.
Oh, you're rich.
Yeah. So if you log into that green account, then we will follow you in one of the races. You will join a server on behalf of eSailing TV, and then will you please guide us through 2 races, what you're doing, how to read it. And that's going to be this show's 2 last races with one of the top players playing it, and he's playing incognito under the name eSailing TV. So everybody knows it is the show racing it. We'll be back after this small break, and let's just take 2 small videos. First, this is the guy you're going to meet. And please turn off the sound, HAVUC. I know you're normally playing with sound, but I'm getting the sound in studio. So this is the guy you're going to meet in a few seconds online.
Hello, HAVUC from Turkey, ready to meet the next champion.
I love it. It's so much fun, especially when I'm on the water and I can see all the birds from so close. And for me, who sails, it's like a dream, really. So my name is Caroline, and I work here on water operations. So I had applied in the past to different sailing opportunities like that, but people usually wouldn't even apply because I'm young and I don't have much experience. And I've been told that there's this Inspire Careers program, and I thought it was a really good opportunity. Most of my responsibilities are just looking around the ribs. I check that there's enough petrol, just like check the power, put the motors down and up. And then during the day we go on the water and I stay with safety 1 or 2. Control. This is safety 1, rating check.
The Inspire program is great for young people. As you get older, you realise that these people need an experience, and we try and give them a little bit of time because we know in the long term it's going to help them out. 7 out of 10.
This Inspire Careers Week I think will enable me to learn more about eSailGP, but also hopefully maybe get a job here. I think it would be the dream job for me.
And welcome to all of you watching out there. We're going to have some fun right now. We are going in to have HAVUC racing for us, doing some cool races, telling us what he's doing. So we're going to follow him, and to be able to follow him the best way, this time we will actually have his picture in studio, so we really can see how he is doing that. So we're just setting up the studio, getting ready for having one of the top players in the game. And HAVUC, all well there? So 11 players, that's 11 out of 16 server we are going to take here. And that's the one we're going to see. We can see, we already, we can't see them yet, but we have access to it, we know where it is. And we're going to see you race it, and HAVUC, you will share some of your tips and tricks. Please tell us, guide us through what you're thinking, why you're doing those things you're doing. And don't give away all the tips and tricks, but I know a lot of people are watching this show right now because you are really giving some hardcore tips and tricks to it. There we have it, eSailing TV ready for race. And Aidan Gordon's in there, so please slap him up. And there we have HAVUC getting ready here. And we will only follow HAVUC. That is the boat here. Right now, starting with a penalty, he's going to the left-hand side. Guide us through, HAVUC. I will be quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find the clear space, but somebody's like trying to penalize me, and he did. So, as we can see, I did a bad start, probably.
But right now you're sneaking away. You're transparent. They can't penalize you now. That's actually also a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I couldn't do a good start because of the penalty from the boat.
But it looks quite good. Second to trust that line, HAVUC. It's only Snatchy and Charlie in the lead, and Aiden Gordon who made a provocation in the chat. He's dropped to 8 with a penalty. So great job by you there.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you'll never know what happens at the starting line because somebody can laugh over you and just, stop in front of you, then penalize you, and it would be not fun at the end. You'll have to just work your way up to the first place.
And right now, you came in first. Why did you choose to round that mark? You were in second, but you round the mark, and then you split to the opposite straight away and come in front of Snatchy.
Yeah, because right now the starboard tack has a better angle, so I prefer to go there. And the right-hand side mark was the better option. The turn is closer to me, so I prefer to take that mark.
We can see Aiden Gordon. He wants to challenge you. He's in third at the moment. And if we really want to, you can actually see the screen what he's doing. But that's okay. You placed in the middle. You chose to do the four tack version, where Aiden Gordon tries to do the three tack version. And he tacks up now inside the ley line, crossing that area of the boundary where you will not get a penalty. That's a glitch in the game, all top gamers know. So you in the lead, throwing dirty air on Aiden. So how to defend you, because he will come with speed from behind.
Well, I mean, I tack just in front of him so I can defend my position. Also, I have plenty of distance between him and myself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to avoid my competitor and just try to look ahead and seek the best wind angle, so that I will just have a more advantage.
And this is actually very sad for Aiden Gordon, because I know he's trying to do a best serious score of 100 or better, and he really wants to be in this race to show that he's better than you, but he really needs to pick up a finish, because right now it's HAVUC and eSailing TV in the lead. The carrot, the orange carrot is taking it, and you're splitting up. What? Ooh, that's interesting, HAVUC. Why are you doing what you're doing there?
I mean, because at the left-hand side there's a bit more wind and better wind angle with the starboard tack again. So I prefer to do the same thing like in the first downwind.
Yeah. And in the chat, people are writing, hey, this is like the World Championship, seeing a youngster against one of the routine players. I have to say, there's almost you're almost double age of Aiden. As I remember, he's 15 and you're 30, HAVUC. So this could be your little brother, almost your son.
Yeah, almost.
And he's 17. He's writing 17 in the chat, so it could be your brother.
Imagine Aiden playing against Filippo.
Yeah. So there we have it. And HAVUC, you're now in the right hand side, and I actually have to say that the tacking up when you're doing there was quite amazing, because now you came in on the top of the corner of the boundaries and just came straight into to the ley lines, and you can go straight to the mark again without doing any extra tacks, because every time you tack, you lose 10 knots, and it takes 10 to 11 seconds to get back up in maximum speed. And see, Aiden Gordon just did that, lost momentum and almost losing to Pirate Cont. But this Pirate Cont, he actually managed to slow down his boat. Luckily for Aiden, or else he might have caught up that penalty.
So I'm thinking of not finishing because I don't want to affect anybody's race. Would that be cool for you?
That's cool if you're disconnecting just before the start, so we're not affecting any races. So
Sure.
just disconnect here, and then we'll take next race, or just stand still and let them take over the positions.
All right.
And that's how the cookie crumbles. HAVUC just showing how we are doing this race. And HAVUC, what a fantastic race you just showed in here. We'll just go to another picture. And HAVUC, we are in studio right now. I know you will go into the next race. So let's just prepare the next race. And this time, I'm very interested in why you're choosing to go to a side and why you're choosing not to go to a side when you're coming in there, in the gate marks. Can you please tell us a little bit how you're reading that wind radar? Just explain it, what you're seeing and how you're seeing it when we're in there.
Well, I don't know. I just try to analyze it analytically when I look at the map and try to take the best side. I mean, with the best wind angle. So I'm trying to think one step ahead when I race. So that I'll have some plans. So also sometimes I cannot do my plans, but I also have some plan B. And
you always have a plan B. And we have a question from the chat. Can you tell us how do you know it's time to take a break between races, please? Because this guy is racing so much that he forgot to take the break and then he starts losing.
Yeah. By the way, the race started
I
right now.
have found it, so no issues.
Right.
I'm in control.
So, I mean, when I feel tired, I just simply don't play. It's a game at the end of the day. So, if you feel tired and you feel like you're losing your concentration, I simply stop playing and give myself some time.
Yeah.
It's a game at the end of the day. You can win or lose.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. And we are ready with the next race again. And of course, Aidan Gordon is in there again. That's his third win today if he's winning this one. So, but I have to say, Aidan, HAVUC is racing to win, but he will first stop the boat in front of the start of the finish line. So if you get penalized or lose the battle in between that, that's up to yourself. Okay, HAVUC, what to do? Guide us through now.
I mean, I'm trying to avoid collision, but yeah, and try to do a fast start. There's another boat. Yeah, I think I
And
did it.
side by side with Aidan. So he's on the inside. So how to win over him here? Oh, you have more speed, but he can penalize you now.
Oh, and yeah,
Oh, he got a penalty. He hit the mark.
Well, I mean, I had an advantage. I was in the zone before him, and there was no overlap, and I managed to have a better angle.
But
So I did a very, very bad turn here. So I'm like stuck in between. So.
And I have to say, Ago Cristiano is one of the top Argentinian sailors. We know him quite well on eSailing TV. So that's a battle you're going to, battling it out almost mano a mano here. But HAVUC, tell us about that mark rounding. Why did you have the advantage? Because you came into the zone first from the reach. Because normally it's the rule of the inside turn. So if he's on the inside and hits you, you will get the penalty.
When I get into the zone, I was there was no overlap. I laughed a little bit, so I avoided the overlap, and then I had the advantage. So I was the leading boat. When I entered the zone, there was no overlap, so I had the I had the advantage there.
And we are seeing here Arco Cristiano coming in together with Alessandro and Aidan Gordon trying to come back. And somehow, HAVUC, you managed just to slip in front of them. And you're going all the way to this ley line here because the other ones, they need to do a double tag or at least one tag to round that mark. So you're in favorite side now.
Yeah, I think so.
You are. Penalty! To Arco Cristiano. We knew it all the way there. But Aidan Gordon is having a hard time. Luckily for him, Arco got a penalty, so he can now slip up to third if he's doing a great job. But it's HAVUC eSailing TV in the lead. And right now, you're crossing to the left-hand side, HAVUC. 45 knots. Why are you choosing to go that way?
Taking a look at the map, and I see more wind there. So I prefer to go there.
And how do you see more wind? We need to have some tips and tricks here for also to all the new players.
Simply, there's a lot more. There are some darker areas on the sea, so I prefer to go there.
So you're actually not reading the wind socks up there that much. You're looking for the darker area when you're doing the EF50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in the downwind, yes.
Especially in the downwind. Upwind, it's the opposite. Then it's all about wind intelligence. Are you racing in 2D or 3D mode right now?
I'm using them both. I'm usually using the 2D mode to see my angle and see where my opponents are, to have a better observation of my opponents and see where am I placed in between them and the mark, so that I can just defend myself. And I'm using the 2D mode, 3D mode when I'm turning the marks and when I'm near to other boats, so that I can easily see how close I am. Because sometimes in 2D mode I cannot see that pretty well, so I prefer to use the 2D mode, 3D mode sometimes.
And another penalty to Arco Cristiano again by a boat coming from starboard, and that's slowing him down. Plus he needs to tack, and that's giving Aidan Gordon that third position that might hit him into second. But this is interesting. Aidan Gordon following you to the gate. Alexander going to the opposite side, and this means they are side by side. So Aidan can actually go in and win this race. I know this is your second win, HAVUC, while we're just talking and having fun. But it's Aidan Gordon. He needs to do this. He's jibing in. It's too late. Alessandro coming in there. Aidan Gordon tried to throw some dirty air. Get some speed. No! Alessandro doing a mistake. Aidan Gordon takes over. He's more speed. He's 4 knots faster. Aidan Gordon takes the victory on the finish line. He must be happy back home in New Zealand at the moment. Great job. And HAVUC, that was 2 races out of 2 you just won. While we're just speaking about tips and tricks, and Roxy Joni is writing, hey, the second place got dirty win for HAVUC because he broke up and stand where he was. That was not the case, Roxy. That was not the case here. Then it was a really big wind shadow he had. HAVUC, let's take one last one. This is the last race of today's show because people out there are watching and are really interested in what's happening, and we're getting some cool questions. So guys, it's now if you have some last questions for HAVUC, so write your question right now in the chat before we're going into the last race of today with our special guest star, HAVUC from Turkey, also known as Kaan Mansuka, 2-time World Championship participant, been in the qualification finals 3-time in the eSailGP, are in the lead of the scoreboard again. And we can see he's almost untouchable. We're just waiting him to win a race. Before we're starting it, let's just see who he is.
from Turkey, Kaan Mahfunca. Ready to be the next champion.
And welcome into race, HAVUC. There we have you again, positioning behind. Why do you always start behind? You've been doing that 3 out of 3 times.
I mean, the boat to have the better.
It's a very slow start. You're doing 20 seconds to start. Can you hit the starting line? For that, it takes 22 seconds to come from behind and up.
I'm like talking too much, but not doing anything. I have to assume.
But he sneaks in anyhow. 5 seconds, handing out a penalty, and starts in second lead. False start. So you are in third, and now we come to that mark rounding again here.
Yeah, you have to be careful with the. Unfortunately, I wasn't inside, so I lost some distance here. This is something I'm not willing to do, but at least I did a fair start without any collusion.
And this is it. Oh, he was just there for one reason. Kill the carrot. Eat it. And I have to say, I saw that one coming in. That was a very dirty penalty, but you're still in third, and this is not over. We know Bobby Dadsler. We have seen him also racing before from the Great Britain. He is a hard British, and as I remember, he's in top 50 at the moment in this race, in this qualification. So let's see if you can come back.
I wasn't expecting that jibe, so I was quite keeping my distance with him, but I wasn't like expecting a jibe there. I was expecting him to go straight to the mark. Because that mark had the better advantage. But I think I'm in a fair position. I still have some chance to get back in a better position.
It's only 130 meters up, and you're winning meters on the other boats right now. But they are coming from starport. Can you come back in this race? Let's see what happens here. And HAVUC, just tell us what you're thinking and what you're doing. I know it's hard to concentrate when you need to come back and talk at the same time. Now you're coming to this mark rounding zone. I know you will take the mark far away from us, because I know what you're watching for at the moment. And the other one's going to the opposite side. That is actually stupid, because now you're sailing a shorter distance than them.
Yeah, I mean, this is a better mark, which is I'm lucky because of where I was positioned before. I did the minimum amount of maneuvers, minimum amount of tacks, and I'm in a fair position again.
And Dave coming in penalizing you.
Yeah, again. So just trying to avoid the wind shadow too, because while going downwind, there's a wind shadow like you're doing.
And here's a question. Which side is the favorite mark to round and how to see it? Don't tell the secret thing that we know in the community, but what to watch for? Or is it just the direction you're sailing?
I cannot say this by heart, because it changes. I mean, changes. I try to prefer the mark closer to me. And with a shorter distance in the upwind and downwind area.
Now we see Dave coming in front of you. He went to the opposite side, left-hand side, but he's not in favored position. You come in starport at the moment, getting a little bit of wind over the side at the moment. See, you can come up and penalize him, and this time he's in trouble. That is changing the dice here. Great job, HAVUC. And what to do now?
The wind is interesting actually right now.
Penalty to Dave.
Yeah.
He sailed into you, so you got back on him.
Well, I mean, I wasn't trying to give him a penalty, but there was a weird wind shift at the moment, and he he hit me on
Actually,
the back.
he sailed into you in that case. We have it on video. We have it on tape. So,
So,
but again, only 50 meters up to Bobby, and but it's too late. We're racing for the reach. It's only if he's doing a mistake. And again, oh, he's doing a double tack around that mark. And that's actually slowing him down, giving you almost 20 meters, but he's speeding up downwind now.
yeah, I think he did a good job there because he's just taking in front of me, and I have to just follow him there. So he's actually minimizing the taking risks, like separation risks. So even though he's a little bit slower at that moment, he's controlling me. So I'm not finishing again.
Not finishing again. Great job, HAVUC. Great job here. Super. And HAVUC, that was having some fun with you with some tips and tricks in these random races in the EF50 in the SailGP qualification. Last tips and tricks to all the viewers out there, how to race this boat or how to win it so they can beat you out of the first place.
Well, I mean, the best tip that I can give is to stay clean, to avoid collision. Just try not to crash into each other to give some penalties, because you may have one at the end of the day. And to stay clean and focus on your strategy is the key factor here, I think.
Yeah, cool. And that was the last word from you. And before we're ending up, let's just go in and see the scoreboard. And there we have it. You're still in the lead. Nothing changed while we have been online for an hour. So don't worry, HAVUC. Second place is still for SailGP sailor Jorn Rodriguez. And then we have Cruiselator already qualified to the grand finals in third. Barton Briggs in fourth. Jorn Cardona qualified already. This giving 2 spots to the places below. So if you are in top 10, then you actually go to the qualifier final as it looks at the moment. The only player we don't have in top 10 at the moment is Dogbars. He's maybe having some fun, saving his time for getting ready to the World Championship, because qualifying to the qualifier final gives you an automatic spot to the playoffs for the World Championship in September. And HAVUC, he already got 3 of those spots. And he will get his 4th spot right now. And
I mean, I spoke with Doğa, and he said he's not willing to lose any more coins since he is already qualified. So he's not playing. Sometimes he plays the races that are free of jokers, you know. So that's it. Yeah.
How many coins do you need to the playoffs in September? 1,000? 1,200?
So you're going to give me some coins, I believe.
Oh, you just saw my account. You know how many coins I have. I have a huge amount of coins. HAVUC, what a pleasure to have you in studio. And with this fantastic view and this ending with laughing, all of you out there, stay safe, stay home, have fun. This was SailGP, eSailGP Championship 2020 qualifier random races in San Francisco we just watched. And we will be back Wednesday with the finals. So it's all about being in top 10, then you will qualify. It's only if Jorn Cardona and Cruiselator goes out of top 8, it's not to be in top 10. But then people really comes in with a hardcore score.
Yeah. Thomas, can I also thank to SailGP, because last week, couple of weeks ago, I think we did a race as eSailing Club Turkey for children only, because 23rd of April was Children's Day in Turkey. It's a day all about children. And I was in touch with SailGP guys through SailGP Inspire program. And they couldn't sponsor the event because of the timeline and the lockdown period, etc., because it was taking time. But they were kind enough to give a prize for the winner of the regatta, because only 18 years old and less people were able to race in this race. And from France, Team Carpentier won the race, and they're going to send a goodie bag, SailGP goodie bag to him. So I'm very happy that I was like in the middle of this and provided something to our younger generation of sailing, not only for Turkish people but also for global point of view. So it is really good to inspire the younger generation, and thank you again to SailGP for that.
And let that be the last words, and then let's see a little bit about SailGP, how to build a boat before they're going on water. HAVUC, thank you for joining in. See you later.
Thank you, Thomas. Take care.
Out of the shed, then couple on the wing. What the hell is that doing there?